latest videos was first time Pelican Bay shoe, and apparently people enjoyed it. So this one, I'll tell this story. My first time in the oil, my first time in the hole, Ad Seg. Out here in California, it's called administrative segregation, or Ad Seg for short. That's like when you're in prison, that's like the jail, and then the shoe is like the prison inside of prison. The hole is like the jail inside of prison. So I remember when I was in Wasco reception center, right? And I got my bag, and they were telling me I was going to New Folsom. And I remember an older cat telling me, "Hey, homie, that motherfucker right there, be prepared, because when you go to the Ad Seg there, when you go to the oil right there, it's a time bomb. You're gonna catch a lot of time." And you know, I was young as fuck. Who gives a? Nobody gave a fuck about none of that, you know. And so, anyways, sure enough, you know, that thing happened on the yard, and it was a little ways away, and you know, I noticed something going on, and you know, I started making my way over there, and sure enough, as soon as it started, took off running, got over there in time, you know, did whatever, got shot at my first time. The CO on 5 block shot at me, right? And so anyways, I wound up going to Ad Seg, okay? And at the time, they wound up sending me to A5, which was violence control at the time. That was like the knuckleheads went into A section and 5 block in Ad Seg. Got there, you know, everybody that's been in the hole knows how it is. As soon as you get there, you make a fishing line and, you know, do what you do. And so, like I said, it's just for a reason why I explained why I wound up in the back. I'd say somebody else's thing was happening. I jumped in, caught my shoe turn, go to the back, and we were on the yard one day, and something happens. You know, somebody was taking care of some business and needed some assistance. Catch an attempted murder case. Back there. I'm already back there for some shit. Now I catch this case back there. Right? A few days after that, me and my cellie catch another down shoe turn. Right? And so it was like I had been told in reception. That Ad Seg, once you get in there, man, it's, you know. But anyways, now, those of you that remember, you know, a lot of people remember the riot 2000 in Pelican Bay. It's a big riot, you know. The thing about Pelican Bay is everything's recorded. You know, before yard is released, every single camera, every single building has 2 cameras directed in different parts of the yard, and then under the central gunner tower, there's 2 cameras, right? And those ones move around. And so that was why Pelican Bay was one of the reasons why it was unique, and why there was coverage of that riot, even though they don't show both sides of the yard riot. I never really understood that. But anyways, there was actually one that was a lot worse, in my opinion, a lot worse, and that was in 1996 in New Folsom, B Yard. I had just went to the hole right before that. Things were brewing. You know, the cops kind of played a big role in creating tension when they decided to put a fence. They cut the weight pile down to about a third of what it originally was, and put a fence around it, forcing groups to walk through other groups' yard areas, creating tension. So it was just a matter of time, and sure enough, you know. Anyway, so I'm in the back, and the riot kicks off over there on B Yard. And that riot was so bad, I believe it lasted 31 minutes. That's where my buddy, my friend Shanky, was killed by the cops in that riot. So the riot was so bad, and that they actually locked down the entire New Folsom, everything, right? Including Ad Seg. Never heard of that before or after that incident, but they locked Ad Seg completely down. No showers, no yard, no nothing, no type of movement. And it stopped transfers, so we were doing our shoot terms, and we were having an extended stay in Ad Seg, right? And so I believe it was 3 months we were on lockdown in Ad Seg. Wow. So one day, you know, we're bullshitting, people are talking on the tier, playing chess, whatever, and you know, in their cells, chopping it up with their sallies, fishing, just doing, you know, whatever happens in Ad Seg. And the cops are passing shit out, or I don't know, but the cops were on the tier. I don't really remember why. And there was one fine as hell. I'm not gonna say her name, but she's walking down the tier. She goes down this way towards cell 101, 102. And she did whatever she did, and as she was walking away, we hear, "Fuck you, you fucking wetback bitch. This is KKK." And I looked at my Sally, and we were like, fucking Ron. So Ron, I know I never use people's names and shit, but Ron's crazy ass probably ain't even alive at this point. Ron was one of them dirty hair white boys, long hair. It wasn't a skinhead, it was just a regular white dude. But, and I've been thinking about making a video about this other thing, and it has to do with one of the worst things that ever happened to the CDC was when JCats, righteous nutcases, people that are crazy, instead of being sent to mental facilities on the streets, they were being just thrown into prison. And a lot of them were killed. But a lot of them killed people also because they're nuts. And they got the upper hand on people that moved in with them and didn't know they were nuts, and they kill them, right? And Ron was one of those guys that was a fucking nut. Ron was in Ad Seg with us because he got into words with a CO, and next thing you know, Ron was trying to bite the CO's thumb off him. Weird thing to try to bite off though, right? But anyways, so, you know, Ron, it's just like this out here, this fake ass lockdown that we're on out here, and a lot of people unfortunately cannot spend too much time with themselves, can't spend too much time up here in their own heads. Prison intensifies that. And so, like I said, Ron, who was always cool, man, he was on my yard group. We were yard group 1. And he's always a cool dude, man, and he yelled that out, right? And we just like I said, me and my Sally would look like fucking Ron, because it's over for Ron. You know, like, there's no fixing that. There's no, you know, anybody can yell anything they want out of their cell, but everybody's hearing, everybody's listening, and there's a consequence for everything, right? And so, you know, immediately, you know, fishing lines start flying out of cells. You hear this shit? Yeah, well, so again, we're on lockdown. There's no group yard. But everybody knows. Ron knows. The white boys know. Everybody knows. It's gonna be taken care of one way or the other. So there were a lot of things that went on, you know. And it was just, once they release yard, whatever issues were, whatever's in the air gets cleared up as soon as there's physical contact. And so, you know, it's not one of those things. It's not like people out here, they, you know, something happened, oh man, hey, and they talk about it day after day after day after day. No, and there was like, okay, boom, done, you know. And so finally, they open up yard, right? Obviously, not gonna happen the first yard, you know? It needs to be comfortable. And we went to yard, and, you know, he apologized, and, you know, yeah, all right. White boys, hey man, you know, hey, it's not your business, just calm your asses down. Everybody's gonna work out, play some handball, get some sunshine, man. We've been in the cells for 3 months already in Ad Seg. Ron was busting down, and he was watching everything. The boy was on his toes. Okay. And I remember, the thing that I forgot is, everybody that I had gone to Ad Seg with, that had done shit with in the oil, for whatever reason, the cops were fucking with me, and everybody left, right? I was the only one still there out of everybody that went back there together, you know. I'd already been back there almost a year. And so when we knew that yard was gonna open up, you know, I got at who I had to get at and was like, hey, Ron, that's me. And I was told, no, nah, you keep helping other people out, you know. Go to the shoot, get your shoot term done, and go get you some sodas or something, man. Go watch some TV, kick back, you know. And I said, nah, that's, you know, that belongs to me, because I'm the only one here that was here when he said it, you know. Everybody else, you know, no. So, whenever that day we went to yard, the first day, I remember Mato coming up, big ass dude, and I didn't really like him, man. But he comes over and he's like, hey, you know, Trip, man, I got that. And so I'm telling him, like, nah, and hey, so anyways, I can't get into all the, but he's like, I got that. And I'm upset about it. And he's like, next yard. So everybody's, you know, doing their thing, normal. And everybody goes in, and you could see Ron was relieved but confused, because he knew, everybody knew. And our next yard day, we go out, and old big boy, because I'm like getting at this dude, my buddy. I had a buddy right there from MS, right? Crazy motherfucker. And I'm like, hey, we ought to just go there and whack this dude right now. Fuck that. And he's like, I'm down. Big boy comes over, and he's like, hey, Holmes, I see you guys. You know, you ain't slick, fool. And I was like, hey, homie, and this is what he tells me. Look, this vato's a J-Cat, homie. We're not gonna even whack him. We're not gonna risk these huras blowing away somebody over a fucking nut, homie. I'm just gonna knock him out. And when I heard that, I was like, whoa, time out. First of all, we don't use our fists, eh? Because I had been, when I came in the system, the way I was told, anything that can be handled with these right here can be handled with this right here, because it ain't serious. If it's serious, you're trying to send somebody to the morgue, or you're going yourself in the process. You know what I mean? And so when he said that, I was like, what? And then I told him, second of all, there's 2 people that cannot be knocked out in the world. It's like scientifically and mathematically impossible to knock out 2 types of people: J-Cats and crackheads. Whatever reason, you cannot knock these people out. So I'm telling him, you cannot. And he's like laughing, and I'm like serious, but telling him, like, you can't knock the J-Cat out. He's a big dude. Ron was a big boy, right? And he's like, nah, just kick back, I got this. But he tells me we have to show some respect and get at his celly and give them the opportunity to deal with it. And if they say no, tell them to get out of the way. So I go over to his celly, and I know this guy. I know him from the yard. I go up to him and I say, hey man, let me holler at you. And he knew, and he was like, what's up? And I said, you know what time it is? And he's like, my celly? And I said, yeah. And I said, with all due respect, you want to get that? Take care of it. It's your people. It's your celly. And he said, look, I have some issues that I need to take care of. I'm not going to get into what he said. And so I told him, hey, walk with me to the other side of the yard right now. So he did. He walks over there, and as soon as he came with me, it went boom. 3 dudes jump on him. And what Ron did, man, is Ron ran towards the gunner and the gate to get out, right? And he got pinned right there. And he was getting smashed. And I remember it was a brand new cop, a fish. They call him Pies. He's a fish cop, brand new to the CDC. And where the chain link fence, the gate is, on the other side was a CO named King, big old white boy. He should be on the goons. He wound up going to the goon squad after that. And the dude in the tower busted one time with the fucking block gun. Boom! Right? And King is like this, watching the whole thing, and they're chain link fences right here, and they're all 3 dudes on Ron, and he's all into it, and he's laughing, and everybody on the yard is just watching, make sure nobody's jumping in. And remember, King looked up at the gunner, and he told him, hey man, these are Southerners. You're gonna have to fire a lot more rounds into this yard right now. And the gunner had already reloaded. And because when King said that, I looked at the gunner. And the gunner fired another round. Boom! Cracked it, put another tube in, and then he aimed. And Big Boy, I don't want to say his name, but Big Boy, out of the 3, he was the one facing this way, and the gun's right here, right above us. And the gunner aimed right at his face. You could tell. And when he pulled that trigger, Big Boy, I saw it was like slow motion. Because 6 rounds fly out. They're like handballs, right? the hard balls are the small ones, and it hit him in his eye, and them things bounce everywhere. It hit him in his eye and just dropped. And I remember it hit the front of his shoe and rolled, right? And it happened so fast but so slow at the same time. When the round hit his face, his eye, he took a step back and he went like this. And I looked at the white boy next to me, who was Ron Selly, and I told him, my homeboy just lost his fucking eye because you didn't take care of that. And sure enough, big boy didn't make a noise, put his hand on the wall, squatted down, and I remember the other two that were on Ron, one threw him towards the other one, the one stayed on him, the other one came over to Big Boy, and Big Boy went like this. How bad is it? And his eye looked flat, and the brown part was almost the whole eye. It looked like a fish eye. And blood started pouring out of his eye. What had happened was, when the round hit, the back of his eyeball exploded. And later we would see each other in the shoe and shit, and he had a glass eye. He lost his eye. And so, I don't like telling these stories. I don't like, I damn sure don't want this to seem like glorifying anything, because people should see this video and say, what a sad existence. Because when you're in there, I know, I did decades in there. You're not living, you're existing. It's almost like being a ghost. Now this video, there's a lot more I'd like to say, just to explain how, if you have a loved one in there, man, understand these are things that they deal with. These are things they go through. They could be over nothing, man. And anybody thinking that street life is cool, understand that's the kind of shit you're gonna do. And those are the kind of consequences you face, man. And with that, I'm out, man. It's a long ass video.